Crime and Justice Institute at Community Resources for Justice is pleased to present and welcome you to the Wednesday series, Using Science in Criminal Justice to Achieve Better Results. Today's webinar is titled Evidence-Based Practice in Pretrial Services, Applications of Principles, Laws, and Research. Good afternoon. My name is Ellen Donnarumma, and I'm the Chief Development Officer for Community Resources for Justice. CRJ is one of the oldest social service organizations in the nation committed to criminal and social justice. We provide direct care to our most challenged citizens so they may live as productive members of the community. And through our Crime and Justice Institute, we provide nonpartisan consulting, policy analysis, and research services to improve public safety in communities throughout the country. CJI works with a diverse group of practitioners and policymakers, including corrections officials, courts, law enforcement, political, and community leaders in local and state jurisdictions across the country. Developed as a follow-up to the release of the box set papers, the Wednesday series has been thoughtfully designed to research diverse audiences and stakeholder groups by incorporating their various perspectives, all aligned by the principles of evidence-based practice and the principles which can be applied at county and state levels. Today's agenda will cover the following areas. First, we will have a brief featured presentation, followed by a panel discussion and interactive Q&A. To begin the webinar, we have a quick poll for our audience to get a sense of whether you work in a county, state, or federal jurisdiction. Your response to the poll shows that the majority of you work in as we wait for the tallies to come in, perhaps a drum roll. The results show that 59% of the folks tuned in and listening today work at the county level, 23% work at the state level, and 18% of today's audience work at the federal level. This webinar is the fourth in a 7-part series that takes place each second Wednesday of each month, finishing in the month of September. The Wednesday series have been adapted from our box set of stakeholder papers, which CJI created under a cooperative agreement with the National Institute of Corrections. We want to take a moment and ask all of you in our audience a second poll question. This question is whether or not you've had a chance to see and review our box set of papers. Your responses to the poll indicate that the majority of you have not yet seen the box set of papers. This set of papers focuses on the application of evidence-based principles for reducing recidivism. The papers are addressed to various criminal justice stakeholders and discuss how the implementation of evidence-based practices and a focus on reducing reoffense affects areas of expertise in community corrections, the judiciary, prosecution, defense, pretrial services, jail, prison, and the provision of treatment. Each of the papers is available for free download on CJI's website. You can also find more information on the remaining webinars in this series and descriptions of current projects and recent publications at cjiinstitute.org. The website address will also appear throughout the webinar. Be sure to mark your calendars for the upcoming webinars in the Wednesday series. Before we begin, we want to remind you that at any time throughout this webinar, you can submit questions for our panel directly via the question function on your screen. Following a brief presentation by Tim Murray, Executive Director of the Pretrial Justice Institute, we will begin our panel discussion and then also respond to questions from the audience. We will try and answer as many questions as time allows, and will make available remaining responses via a frequently asked question sheet that can be accessed on CJI's website. Both the FAQ sheet and the PowerPoint with audio will be available for download on our website free of charge. Lastly, we also want to inform you that during the presentation, you may see our cursor moving on the screen. We apologize for this minor distraction. However, we cannot alter it as it's due to the webinar technology we are using. We hope you enjoy the webinar and look forward to hearing your comments and feedback on the brief evaluation following the completion. Thank you. Before we introduce today's featured presenter and panel members, we'd like to recognize and thank the primary author of the pretrial box set papers, Dr. Marie Van Nostrand of Luminosity Incorporated. Thank you, Marie, for your insight in this area of practice, particularly as you discuss considerations of legal and evidence-based practices in pretrial services. We would also like to thank Ms. Susan Schaefer, Director of the DC Pretrial Services Agency, who contributed to the development of this webinar. And now we'd like to introduce our featured presenter, Mr. Tim Murray, Executive Director of the Pretrial Justice Institute. Additional information on Tim and his biography and all our panelists can be found on our website. Tim Murray is the Executive Director of the Pretrial Justice Institute. While at PJI, Tim has successfully garnered the support of stakeholders such as the International Association of Chiefs of Police, the National Association of Counties, the American Bar Association, National Public Radio, the United States Department of Justice, numerous philanthropic foundations, and others in calling for safe and rational pretrial justice policies. Prior to joining PJI, Tim served in a variety of executive positions with the Bureau of Justice Assistance, including Deputy Director. Tim was instrumental in the design and implementation of the nation's first drug court in Miami, Florida. He convened the first National Drug Court Conference and served as the first Federal Drug Court Program Office Director. Tim is the proud recipient of Pioneer Awards from the National Association of Drug Court Professionals and the National Association of Pretrial Service Agencies, as well as NAPSA's Olgiati and the Members of the Year Awards. Welcome.
Thank you, Ellen. I'm happy to be here.
Next we have Ms. Barbara Darby, Executive Director, Pretrial Services Corporation. Ms. Darby is the Executive Director of Pretrial Service Corporation, where she's been employed since 1985. She holds a master's degree in public administration and has served in a number of positions with the agency before becoming the Executive Director in 2001. Ms. Darby served for a number of years on the board of the New York State Association of Pretrial Service Agencies, including a term as Vice President for Diversion. Currently, Ms. Darby is the Treasurer of the National Association of Pretrial Service Agencies Board of Directors. She served on NAPSA's Release Standards Revision Committee. She is a long-standing member of the NAPSA Diversion Committee and is the primary author for the 2008 revision of the Pretrial Diversion Intervention Standards. In addition, she has worked with the National Institute of Corrections on a number of projects, including the Pretrial Release Training DVD and the Pretrial Executive Development Training Series. She was awarded NIAPS's Olgiati Award in 1998 and NAPSA's Member of the Year in 2005. Welcome. We're having a small technical difficulty, and Barbara is with us, but we are having a small audio problem that we're working on. But Barbara, we know you can hear us. We welcome you. Next, we have Mr. Spurgeon Kennedy. Kenny is the Director of Research, Analysis, and Development for the D.C. Pretrial Services Agency. In his current role, Mr. Kennedy helps lead the agency's strategic planning initiative and efforts to implement evidence-based practices and innovations. Before joining the Pretrial Services Agency, Mr. Kennedy served as Program Manager with the U.S. Department of Justice's National Institute of Justice, overseeing the Institute's Breaking the Cycle system-wide drug testing and treatment initiative, and helping to create and implement field tests, demonstration programs, and other applied research. Mr. Kennedy also served as a Senior Associate with the Pretrial Services Resource Center, a technical assistance provider to, and the National Clearinghouse for information about pretrial service agencies and court processing and jail crowding issues. In addition, Mr. Kennedy provided technical assistance to a variety of organizations and written several criminal justice publications. Welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Finally, I'd like to introduce Mr. Dan Peterka, Manager for Pretrial Services, Court of Common Pleas, Cuyahoga County, Ohio. Mr. Peterka has worked for the Cuyahoga County Court of Common Pleas for over 30 years in a variety of positions. He currently serves as Project Director of the CCA Jail Reduction Program, Halfway House Liaison, Co-Director of the Greater Cleveland Drug Court, Coordinator of the Mental Health Docket and Mental Health Initiative, and on several local criminal justice, jail, mental health, and substance abuse planning groups. Mr. Peterka also serves on several state of Ohio boards, including the Ohio Association of Pretrial Service Agencies, Supreme Court Mental Health Advisory Committee, the Ohio Community Corrections Organization, and several planning and budget committees. Nationally, he has served on the NAPSA Release Standards and Diversion Committee. He has also provided technical assistance to the National Institute of Corrections and Bureau of Justice Assistance. He is currently a member of the National Institute of Corrections Pretrial Executive Network. Mr. Peterka was also a recipient of the NAPSA Member of the Year Award in 2003. Welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome from Cleveland.
Thank you, everyone. We appreciate your time with us. And at this time, I'd like to hand over our webinar to Mr. Murray, our featured presenter and moderator for our discussion.
Thank you, Ellen.